The golden rays of the setting sun gently illuminated a quiet small street. The crunching sound of dried leaves under the old bicycle wheels blended into the stillness of the evening, broken only by Liam's heavy breaths. The 21-year-old had just finished a long day of work, his calloused hands still carrying the faint scent of grease. On his sun-kissed face, fatigue was evident, yet it was overshadowed by a determined gaze and a rare glimmer of optimism. Up ahead, a sleek Tesla Model X was parked on the roadside. Beside it stood an elderly woman with an elegant demeanor, her face touched with a hint of worry. This was Sarah Peterson. With her silver hair neatly tied up and a refined outfit, she looked like someone who had stepped out of a luxury story. But her eyes revealed helplessness. A flat tire had left her stranded, and none of the passing cars had stopped to assist her. From a distance, Liam spotted the scene. He slowed his bicycle, his legs pedaling cautiously as he thought, "Should I stop?" For a brief moment, hesitation crossed his mind. But then he reminded himself, "She needs help. I can't just ride by." Parking his bike on the roadside, Liam stepped off and called out gently, "Excuse me, ma'am. Do you need help?" Sarah startled slightly at the unexpected voice. She looked at Liam from head to toe, a young man in a faded t-shirt and worn-out sneakers. But there was something about his warm smile and kind eyes that put her at ease almost immediately. "Oh, thank you, dear. My tire is flat, and I have no idea how to fix it," she replied, her tone tinged with a bit of embarrassment. Liam nodded and offered a reassuring smile. "Don't worry, ma'am. I can take care of it. It won't take long." He walked over to the car, quickly assessing the flat tire. From the small bag strapped to his old bike, Liam pulled out a simple but reliable toolkit. Sarah couldn't hide her surprise as she watched him work with steady hands and calm precision. "Do you do this often?" she asked, her voice curious. "Not really, but I fix bikes for my neighbors all the time, so I've picked up a few skills," Liam replied while focusing on his work. "This car is amazing, though. I've never worked on anything this modern before." Liam's comment drew a light laugh from Sarah, easing the tension. In that moment, she felt something different about him. Not just his skill, but his unassuming attitude and quiet kindness. As Liam carefully patched up the flat tire, his calloused hands moved swiftly over the shiny surface of the Tesla. Sarah stood nearby, her gaze fixed on the young man. His composure and dedication intrigued her. "What's your name?" Sarah asked, her voice warm and friendly. "Liam, ma'am," he replied, looking up briefly with a smile before returning to his work. Sarah paused for a moment, then softly said, "Liam, you're very kind. Not many people would stop to help a stranger like you did." Liam chuckled softly as he worked on the tire. "My mom always says that if you can help someone, you should do it right away. Seeing you here alone, I just couldn't ride by." His simple yet heartfelt words struck a chord with Sarah. She paused, deep in thought, before gently asking, "Do you live nearby?" "Yes, ma'am, not too far," Liam replied, his voice softening a little. "I live with my mom and 2 younger siblings in a small house on the edge of town. My mom's a nurse and works really hard. I do odd jobs to help out with the bills." Sarah nodded, her gaze kind yet filled with compassion. "And what about school? Are you still studying?" Liam briefly stopped working, his eyes reflecting a faraway look. "No, ma'am. I graduated high school last year. I've always dreamed of going to college to study mechanical engineering. I love technology, especially cars like this," he said, patting the Tesla lightly. "But tuition is too expensive, so it's just a dream for now." Sarah could hear the wistfulness in his voice. She looked at the young man before her, so determined yet held back by life circumstances. "You seem to have a real passion for machines," Sarah said, her voice gentle yet encouraging. Liam smiled as he continued working on the tire. "Yes, ma'am. I've always been fascinated by how things work. When I was little, I once took apart my bicycle just to see how it worked, though I didn't know how to put it back together," he admitted with a sheepish grin. The comment drew a light-hearted laugh from Sarah, easing the air between them. But then she sighed softly, her tone more serious. You have such a beautiful dream, Liam. But I'm sure it hasn't been easy for you, has it? Liam paused for a moment, wiping his hands on his pants before looking up at Sarah. It's been tough, ma'am, but my mom always tells me that if you keep faith and stay kind, good things will come your way. I believe in that. Sarah didn't reply right away. She just stood there looking at Liam, her heart tightening at the sight of his quiet optimism. His words weren't just a recounting of his life. They were a gentle reminder of the enduring value of kindness in a fast-paced world. In just about 15 minutes, Liam finished the repair. He stood up, dusted off his hands, and gave Sarah a friendly smile. All done, ma'am. You're good to go now. Just make sure to have the tire checked at a garage later to be safe. Sarah let out a relieved breath, her eyes brimming with gratitude. She quickly reached for her purse, pulling out some cash and handing it to Liam. Thank you so much, Liam. Here's a little something to show my appreciation. Liam glanced at the money Sarah offered, then shook his head and smiled. Thank you, ma'am, but there's no need. I didn't do this for money. I just wanted to help. Sarah froze for a moment, stunned. It was the first time she had met someone who would lend a hand without expecting anything in return. In a world where so much is measured in material terms, Liam's act of selflessness felt extraordinarily rare. You're truly one of a kind, Liam, Sarah said, her voice filled with emotion. As Liam walked back to his old bicycle, Sarah stood silently, watching his small figure fade into the horizon. His silhouette grew smaller under the golden glow of the setting sun, but the memory of him was etched deeply into her heart. She murmured softly to herself, "What a remarkable young man." Sarah got into her car, started the engine, but didn't drive off right away. Instead, she pulled out her phone, dialed a familiar number, and waited as it rang. "Hi, Mom. What's going on?" Elon Musk's familiar voice came through the line. Sarah smiled gently, her emotions bubbling to the surface. "Elon, you won't believe this. I met a very special young man today, and I think you need to hear this story." Sarah drove home, but her thoughts lingered on Liam. His humility and kindness had left a profound impact on her. Once home, she sat down with a cup of tea and reached for her phone again, dialing the number of the one person who might understand her feelings, her son, Elon Musk. "Hi, Mom. How are you? Is everything okay?" Elon's voice carried a hint of curiosity. Sarah chuckled softly, her heart still brimming with emotion. "You won't believe this, Elon. I met someone extraordinary today, and I need to tell you all about him." Despite his packed schedule, Elon listened attentively as his mother recounted her encounter with Liam. She detailed how he had stopped to help her, fixed her flat tire without hesitation, and shared his story of hardship and resilience, all without expecting anything in return. "You know, Elon," Sarah said, her voice trembling slightly. "He refused to take any money as thanks. He did it all purely out of kindness. Liam reminded me that sometimes kindness doesn't need any conditions." On the other end of the line, Elon was silent for a few moments. Finally, he spoke, his tone resolute. "Mom, this young man deserves to be helped. We need to find him." The very next morning, Elon convened his team at Tesla headquarters. A detailed plan was put into motion to locate the young man named Liam. "We're looking for someone named Liam, about 21 years old, living near this town," Elon explained, his voice serious. "He helped my mother and refused any kind of reward. I need to meet him. Don't overlook any detail." The team quickly got to work. From analyzing traffic camera footage in the area where Sarah had met Liam to canvassing local residents for information, every step was carried out meticulously. Sarah, following the progress from afar, couldn't hide her concern. She turned to Elon and asked, "Do you think we'll be able to find him?" Elon offered her a reassuring smile. "Mom, If he could do something extraordinary on an ordinary day, then we can certainly do something extraordinary to find him. I'm confident we will. On the first day, the team came up empty. No one seemed to know who Liam was, nor did they recognize the old bicycle he was riding. But on the second day, hope flickered when traffic cameras captured blurry footage of a young man riding away from the area where Sarah's car had broken down. Though indistinct, it was their first real lead. Elon and his team narrowed down the search area and began knocking on doors, asking locals if they recognized the boy in the footage. Finally, a neighbor recalled seeing a young man named Liam, who often helped people fix bikes in the neighborhood. "He lives in the small house at the end of that road," the neighbor said, pointing the way with a kind smile. Elon looked at his mother, a determined expression on his face. "We've found him at last," he said confidently. The small house sat tucked beneath the shade of tall trees lining the road. Elon and Sarah, along with his team, approached the front door. Elon knocked gently, and within seconds, the door opened. Standing there was Liam, still dressed in his simple, worn clothes. His eyes widened with surprise as he took in the sight of the people standing before him. But what shocked him most was the unmistakable figure of Elon Musk, the man he had only ever seen in news articles and on television. "You're Liam, right?" Elon asked, his voice warm yet commanding. Liam stammered, Yes, I'm Liam. But how do you know me?" Sarah stepped forward, her smile kind and comforting. "Liam, my mother told me so much about you. Your actions that day deeply moved her, and she believed you deserved to meet her son, Elon Musk." Liam stood frozen, his eyes wide with disbelief, unable to process what he was hearing. Elon stepped closer, extending his hand. "You did something that not everyone would do. You helped someone without expecting anything in return. I'd like to know more about you, Liam." Liam lowered his head slightly, his hand trembling as he shook Elon's. I just did what I thought was right. I never imagined it would lead to this," he said, his voice thick with emotion. Elon smiled warmly. "That's exactly what makes you special, Liam. I want to hear your story, and if I can, I want to help you get closer to achieving your dreams." Liam's eyes lit up, a mix of astonishment and newfound hope. In that moment, he realized that his life was about to change forever. In the small, modest room of Liam's family home, Elon Musk sat across from him. The atmosphere was quiet, yet beneath the surface, waves of emotion surged. Liam still couldn't believe that one of the most powerful and influential men he had ever heard of was sitting right in front of him. "Liam, I'd like to know more about you," Elon began, his tone gentle but full of genuine interest. "You seem like someone with incredible determination." Liam lowered his head slightly, his voice tinged with shyness. "I just try to do what's necessary to help my mom and siblings. Things are tough for us, but I've always felt like I needed to do something better." Elon nodded, his gaze thoughtful. "My mother told me you have a deep passion for technology, especially cars. What sparked that interest in you?" Liam's eyes lit up as he looked up, his face suddenly animated with enthusiasm. "I've always been fascinated by how things work. I want to create machines that are not just useful but can also change people's lives. But that dream, it's always felt so far out of reach for me." Elon smiled, a strange but familiar emotion welling up in him. He saw a reflection of his younger self in this boy, a young man who had started with nothing but carried within him a burning desire to change the world. Elon motioned to a member of his team, and within minutes, a sleek Tesla Model 3 rolled up to the front of Liam's house. "Liam, this is the first gift I'd like to give you," Elon said, his eyes warm with kindness. "You've spent years riding your bike to work and taking care of your family. Now, let this car help you go further." Liam jumped to his feet, his eyes wide with shock. You're serious? This car is for me?" Elon nodded, his smile encouraging. Yes, Liam. No more pedaling everywhere. From now on, you'll have a vehicle to take you wherever you want to go. Liam stepped outside, his hands trembling as he reached out to touch the car. He was speechless. His mother, who had been standing silently nearby, now had tears streaming down her face. "My son, you've earned this," she whispered, her voice choked with emotion. "You deserve it." While Liam was still overwhelmed by the surprise gift, Elon continued, "But I know that for you, this is only the beginning. What I want to do for you isn't just about making it easier for you to get around. I want to help you achieve your dreams." Elon pulled out a folder and placed it in front of Liam. "This is a full scholarship to any university of your choice. Tuition, living expenses, everything is covered. All you need to do is pick where you want to study and work hard." Liam stared at the folder, his eyes brimming with tears. I don't even know what to say. This is a dream I never thought could come true." Elon looked at Liam with a reassuring smile. "You don't have to say anything, Liam. Just make the most of it. I see great potential in you, and I believe you can achieve amazing things." Elon placed a firm but encouraging hand on Liam's shoulder, his gaze steady and full of belief. "You don't need to say anything, Liam. Just do your best. You have the potential to not only change your own life, but to make a difference in the lives of others." Liam's mother stepped forward, wrapping her arms tightly around her son. Her voice quivered with emotion as she said, "My son, I'm so proud of you. Everything you've received today is well-deserved for all the hard work you've done." Liam's younger sister ran up, her wide eyes fixed on the Tesla before turning to her brother with excitement. "Liam, you're the best now." Liam laughed, kneeling down to ruffle her hair affectionately. But in his heart, a profound happiness blossomed, one that words couldn't fully capture. Every hardship he had faced now felt like stepping stones that had led him to this transformative moment. As the emotions began to settle, Elon rose to his feet and looked at Liam with a hopeful expression. "Liam, I know you'll accomplish great things, and when you do, I hope you'll remember to give back and help others like yourself." Liam bowed his head, his voice trembling with gratitude. "I promise, Mr. Elon, I'll never forget the kindness you and your mother have shown me today." Elon shook Liam's hand once more, then turned to his mother with a smile. "You have a remarkable son. I'm so glad I had the chance to meet him." The entire family watched as Elon walked back to his car. They stood together, seeing his silhouette fade into the distance, their hearts now glowing with a renewed sense of hope and promise for the future. Years after those challenging times, Liam found himself standing before the Tesla headquarters. From a boy who once rode a rusty old bicycle along dusty streets, he had grown into a promising engineer, contributing to some of the most advanced technologies in the world. Taking a deep breath, Liam looked out at the horizon. The road before him was no longer the rough, uneven path he had once known. It was now a wide, open avenue where dreams that once seemed distant were shining brightly within his reach. But no matter where he stood, Liam never forgot that fateful day, the moment he chose to stop and help a stranger with a flat tire. A small act of kindness had opened doors he could have never imagined. One warm afternoon, beneath the golden rays of the sun, Liam received an unexpected invitation from Elon Musk. This time, it wasn't for work, but for a family gathering. Walking into the grand room, Liam was met by a familiar figure, Sarah Peterson, the woman whose life he had unknowingly touched. She approached him with the same elegant demeanor and gentle smile as the first time they met. "Liam," Sarah said softly, her voice trembling with emotion. "Seeing you today confirms what I knew back then. I was right. That day, when you stopped to help me, was a day that reminded me that kindness still exists." Liam bowed his head, his eyes glistening with tears. "Mrs. Sarah, it was you and Mr. Elon who gave me the opportunity to become the person I am today. I'll never forget that day. To me, it wasn't just a small act. It was a turning point in my life. Sarah placed a hand gently on Liam's shoulder, her smile warm and filled with pride. And to me, Liam, it was proof that kindness, no matter how small, can ripple out to change the world. After the reunion, Liam devoted much of his time to the community where he grew up. There, he began offering free classes for underprivileged children, sharing his knowledge and experience in technology while inspiring them to dream big, even dreams that once seemed out of reach. One day, standing in a circle of eager children, Liam smiled warmly and said, "You know, my dream once felt impossible, but kindness and perseverance brought me here. Never stop believing in the good, because even a small act of kindness can change the world." The children's bright, innocent eyes sparkled as they looked at Liam with admiration. To them, he was not just a teacher, but a source of inspiration. A living testament that hardships can be overcome with faith and compassion. That evening, sitting in the small room with his mother and younger sister, Liam reflected on his journey. His mother, whose hands had once been calloused from years of hard work, could finally rest. His sister, who once wished for a brighter future, now had the opportunity to pursue her own dreams. "My son," his mother said softly, her voice filled with pride, "you've not only changed your life, but also the lives of those around you. I always knew you could do it." Liam smiled, his eyes tender with gratitude. "Everything I've accomplished today is because you taught me to hold on to kindness, even in the hardest times." As Liam stepped out of the small house, the gentle moonlight bathed everything in a serene glow. He paused, gazing up at the star-filled sky, silently thanking everyone who had helped him along the way, from his mother to Sarah Peterson to Elon Musk. He whispered to himself, "A single act of kindness can change an entire life, and today I'll continue to spread that kindness." On this path, Liam was not just a talented engineer, but a beacon of hope, an enduring flame that illuminated dreams waiting to be fulfilled. Life can change in extraordinary ways from a simple act of kindness rooted in sincerity. Spread kindness, because you never know who might need it or how far it could go. If this story has touched your heart, share it to spread the message of love and compassion. And always remember, even the smallest act of kindness can create miracles in someone's life, even your own.